Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are on May the 16th of 1987. We are still coming to you from, I believe, Texas Stadium with four matches. Like I said, these stadium shows are kind of cool because you see people you don't normally see, and you see guys that have been with the company for a while. Kind of getting a chance to shine. Killer Brooks and Steve Dahl. Dahl, relatively new to the sport, only maybe a year, 2 years at maximum in, and going one-on-one with Brooks in a major stadium show like this is a good opportunity for him. We see the headlock, difficulty with a backdrop, but Brooks smart enough and crafty enough to turn a botched backdrop into amateur style wrestling on the ground. Of course, Brooks passing away this year, but most notably was the trainer or a trainer, key trainer for Keith Lee, who's on WWE right now. So thank you to the late Tim Brooks for his contributions to the sport, not only as a competitor but as a trainer. I really do worry, and I wonder, in 20 years, I will have been a fan of the sport for over 50 years. But what scares me is who's going to be the trainers in 20 years. The last of the really over guys will most likely be gone, and I worry about the future of the sport when I think about the fact that the guys from the 80s, the guys from the even the at that point the early 90s will be gone and not training anymore. Anyway, Dahl sends Brooks into the buckle quite a bit. Around and around we go with that, and Brooks not willing to back down on his aggression nor his willingness to cheat. We then see, shots to the midsection and then some armbar work. Roll up by Dahl 1-2 and gets a 2 count on a near fall that looks pretty intense actually when you think about it. Brooks goes back to work, and then we see a crossbody with a victory for Brooks. Then we go to Al Madril versus Mil Mascaras. Mil Mascaras, of course, probably one of the biggest stars of the last 30, 40 years, no longer than that, in Mexico. Al Madril, of course, a mainstay in the area. I've never been a Mascaras fan. I understand his impact on Lucha. Just everything I've heard about the guy, I don't particularly care for. And plus, as much as I enjoy Lucha in infusion in traditional North American, United States and Canada style wrestling, I've never really been an amazing Lucha fan. I like it when it's interspersed into things. I do not enjoy it as a art form. With the exception of the AAA pay-per-view, I enjoyed that from 1994, but it was because it was a new style and I'd never seen it before. I've never been able to catch on to a Mexican product and watch episodically. And also, too, to be fair, I've never been able to do the same with a Japan product either. Although I did watch full shows of Zero One when I had friends that worked there almost, 15 plus years ago now. Anyway, hip tosses by Mascaras, and then he puts on the abdominal stretch. Tries to turn that into a bit of a roll. Madril spends a few minutes in the abdominal stretch. Mascaras sends his opponent to the top turnbuckle. Mascaras willing to do anything to win here, even though he's a babyface. There's a little bit of aggression you don't normally see from this style of babyface anyway. Then we go with Mascaras obviously getting the win. Mascaras with a crossbody. He does not take losses, especially in the States. Red River Jack and Spike Huber versus H&H Incorporated. Hart and Holiday. Obviously, the Holiday experiment doesn't seem to work out very well. He seems to be gone within some months. But it is what it is. Abdullah the Butcher on the other side of the ring with Eli the Eliminator. Hart and Holiday are out there. Eli the Eliminator, a guy who doesn't hang around very long but does have a pretty big impact. The Eliminator goes after Huber early. Red River Jack tries to get in, much to the chagrin of Gary Hart's folks. Red River Jack does come in, gets a few shots off on the Eliminator. He immediately goes to a more brawling style, obviously as to be expected. Huber sent out to the field, brawling into the tables by Red River Jack. There is a point where the scaffold holding the scaffolding up is used as a weapon. Spike Huber gets nailed into that. Red River Jack and Abdullah the Butcher go at it. I don't know that the Red River Jack with a mask works out very well, but you do find out he's bleeding through the mask, which I find interesting, especially with the visual of a white mask. Kicks by Red River Jack, tries to take out Abdullah. Doesn't work as well as he plans, but it works nonetheless. He takes both guys out and, is what it is. Big back body drop by Huber on the Eliminator, and Huber manages to almost get a victory. Red River Jack comes in, nails a few shots on Abdullah the Butcher. You're talking about an elongated brawl sequence here for several minutes. Gary Hart finally does get into the ring and take shots at Red River Jack, trying to take the mask off of Jack. Gary Hart, who was in the plane accident in the 70s, can't take good bumps. Gary Hart, though, one of the best talkers in his era or any era. I would encourage anybody who's trying to break into the business, either as a storyline creator or as a managing talent, to come in there. Then we see Jeep Swanson make his way in, try and lay Brody out, and we see that continue. We're given about 10 minutes for the main event. Main event is, of course, Nord the Barbarian and Kevin Von Erich for the World Championship. Kevin, of course, this Stadium Series, always a big deal with the David Memorial Parade of Champions concept. Nord the Barbarian, a guy who I think they could have put the belt on, would have done themselves well. He takes control with a chinlock early. He then continues to brawl around, kicks to the midsection, and cross body by Von Erich. Von Erich cannot get the pinfall right off, but that doesn't mean he quits. Then we see him go for the claw for a while. Amazing that Nord the Barbarian, who they bring in with a lot of fanfare, ends up doing more selling than one would imagine him to do in a situation like this. But I think, again, you're facing a Von Erich. You're going to sell, whether you want to or not. That gives way to quite a bit of, brawling on Nord's part. Nord ends up going in the general direction of that inverted backbreaker he uses. Amazingly, we do see that carry on for several minutes. Kevin and Nord dump to the outside when Nord misguides his own position in the ring. Nord and Von Erich brawl all around the arena/stadium. Nothing gets settled between the two of them, but the fans are happy with that brawl. We will be back with more right after this.